Hello, and thank you so much for serving on this Sunday, September 15th, 2024. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of what to expect this week when you are serving. So I'm going to start with the small group stuff and then end with large group so that if you're teaching large group, you can continue to the end. Or if you're curious about large group and you want to watch it, that's great. But otherwise, you can stop the video after I talk about small groups. So you're going to arrive at 9:30 and you're going to actually start in this room right here. This is our 4th and 5th grade classroom. This is where we do our huddle. Huddle begins at 9:30. You will be checked in when you get here. They'll have your volunteer sticker for you at that point. So you'll meet as a team and then you'll go to your huddle space. So if you are teaching 4th and 5th grade, you are already in the space where you are going to start. It is not Memory Verse Sunday this week. It is 9:15. So it is a regular week. So this is our schedule that we follow. Every small group is going to start at 10 o'clock. Prior to 10 o'clock, kids will begin arriving around 9:50. So if you are in kindergarten through 1st grade, they're going to be doing a coloring sheet. If you are in 2nd, 3rd grade, or 4th and 5th grade, then you're going to be doing the belong activity. You're going to be letting them chat. And at 10 o'clock, everyone's going to be starting the belong activity in your small group space. At 10:10, you need to be done with your belong activity and walking to the large group classroom, which is where the kindergarten and 1st graders meet all the time. So if you're in 2nd and 3rd grade, bring your iPad and Bibles. If you're in 4th and 5th, you're going to bring the yellow bag that's on top of your cart and bring your iPad, your walkie-talkie, kids' Bibles, the upstairs key, your lesson plans, and any materials for the Believe and Become. So large group lesson will begin at promptly 10:15 and it will wrap up at 10:48. So large group teachers, I'll go through the details of that later. So at 10:48, you should be walking back to your classrooms so that you can start your next part at 10:50. That's your Believe activity. It takes about 10 minutes, and then you move into your Become activity, which is about 10 more minutes. Then small group wrap up, which takes about 5 minutes, ending with your discipleship discussion. 4th and 5th grade, you are going to remain upstairs until the end of service. You're not going to come back down at communion time to give you that extra 10 minutes or so with your group before parents come to pick them up. So the schedule is there, and then this is what it looks like. So every classroom has a cart similar to this. They are labeled to where the parts of your lesson are. So if you are 4th and 5th grade, the yellow bag is specific to you. It has your key to get upstairs. Inside your top drawer is your lesson plans, which I'll go through quickly here. So you can see your lesson plans here, and underneath it is the take-home sheets for those kids to take home at the end of this morning. So your lessons go like this. I'm going to go quickly because you can access this on Planning Center and look at the electronic version as well. So Belong is your first one before we go to large group. And with that, you just need paper. If you want to know details about it, you can read through the script here of what you're doing together. It's a lot of discussion. It's kind of like just kind of getting to talk about your week and each other and doing some kind of icebreaker type activities every week. It's about belonging to your group. So then you're going to go to large group. But then when you come back at 10:50, you're going to start your Believe activity, which is make it bigger. You need your whiteboard and dry erase markers to do it. So you can see it here. Typically, the Believe activity is almost always going to be a follow-up of our memory verse practice. So you can use the whiteboard for that activity and dry erase markers to do it. Although for this week, you will be upstairs at that point. And so since you're in 4th and 5th grade, you won't have a dry erase board. So I included some poster board here. So you can do the exact same activity, just modified using poster boards. So you can have 2 teams and make it a race to write that memory verse that they've been practicing since the beginning of September. So then at 11:10, at 11 is when you move into your Become activity, which is God's hope is unstoppable. And you need dominoes and sticky notes cut down to size for those dominoes. So if you flip back to that is here. And it's all scripted for you if that makes you feel more comfortable. And then at 11:10, you move into your small group wrap-up, which is here. It's kind of going over those big me, he, we questions, praying together, choosing a challenge for the week. And then finally, at 11:15, you're going to shift into the discipleship discussion, which is this week. There's things at the beginning about, so this week's story is about the birth of Moses. So it's got some different things from there. And then also, what about scary world events? So thinking about what was going on in the world when Moses was born. And that was a very scary time. And we live in a time where there are scary things happening. And so talking about how we can still see God and his hope even when we are witnessing scary world events. So if you look in your Become thing here, you see your domino kit and your sticky notes for your Become. So when you go upstairs, all you have to carry with you in that yellow bag is your lesson plans, because you'll need those, your key to get upstairs, which is already in the bag. You'll need to carry those 2 small poster boards and you'll need to carry the dominoes and the sticky notes, so you want to stick those in your bag. When you hear on the walkie-talkie that they say that the communion has started, then that means that in about 10 minutes after that is when you guys need to come back downstairs. So if I were you, if it comes on at 11:15 and they say communion has started, then just at 11:25 come back down then. I will be in service this week, so I will also give you like a reminder text when that kind of after the very last song has begun, that is time to head back downstairs. So now I'm going to show you what the second and third graders, as well as the kindergarten and first graders, are doing this week. So second and third graders are on the other side of the accordion wall. Normally you'll go through the hallway to get there. But for this time of the year, they are doing the exact same activities. So this is the lesson plans and the take-home sheets for our our second and third graders, but kindergarten and first, yours are exactly the same. So for your belong activity, which happens before large group, you're doing the perfect landscape, which is paper and a coloring supply. So both classes have that. The script for it is here. When you get back from large group, you're doing a craft. This is the first time we've done a craft with this curriculum. So it's Baby Moses basket weaving. So I'm going to show you. It's supposed to start at 10:50 right after a large group. This is going to probably take more than 10 minutes. I tried to make it as user-friendly as possible. So if you look, I'm going to show you the script here first, and then in your Believe bin, you have scissors and tape. I already prepped the craft for the kids. So if you look in here, there's an example one. And I did cut a few of the circles out for if you have any learners that are younger or struggle with cutting where the circle is already cut, but the rest are not pre-cut for the Baby Moses, because most of our second and third graders should be able to cut around the edge and cut up those dotted lines to create the basket below him. But I did pre-cut all the brown basket pieces, which are right here in the back. And so I made an example here. I needed 5 pieces. They might need 4. They might need 6. They're not perfectly cut. So just have them do the basket weaving in it. And then on the back, you fold back the excess and you taped it down. So in your bin, you have tape, you have scissors in case if they need to do those things, and there is extra brown paper in there for them. If you are teaching kindergarten and first grade, you have the same craft, but everything is pre-cut. The only thing that they have to cut up is the line, because I know they can cut a straight line and then weave in those brown pieces. The circle of Baby Moses in his basket is already pre-cut for our kindergarten and first graders. So following that activity, around 11 o'clock, you're going to be moving into Hear Ye, He's Our Hope, and all you need is your Bible and a handbell. So if you look in your Become, you have a handbell. Now the beauty of this is that the teacher is in charge of the handbell, but again, you have the ability to change that. You can let one of the kids ring the bell if you would like and let them take turns with it, but you're looking at different places in the Bible. And so you can look through here and see the script of things that they do together with that. Following that, at 11:10, it's time for small group wrap-up, and the same as every week, we're going over those he, me, we things that we were set at the beginning of the lesson. We're choosing our challenge for the week, we're saying goodbye, and we're praying together. And then finally, at the end, kind of as you're relaxing and waiting for parents to arrive, is when you do the discipleship discussion, which is the exact same for all 3 small groups, so I won't go over it again, but it is a very good discussion to have with those groups. And finally, for small groups, if you were teaching kindergarten, first grade small group, I'm not passing this out yet because I want for you to see the sign on it. It is both their take-home sheet and their coloring sheet this week. Normally, I run them separately, but what I did was on the back side of this is their coloring sheet for this week. So when you arrive and kids are arriving, set up one of these coloring sheets at every seat for the kids. They need to write their names on the top, and then they can color their sheet using the crayons or the markers, and they're going to do that until 10 o'clock when you start your Belong activity. The activity is going to be here at the carpet facing the whiteboard, and same as all those other carts, they are organized by their activities. So the top shelf is lesson plans and take-home sheets, as well as your Belong, because this cart just has one less shelf. The Believe activity is right here. Again, that Moses basket is cut out for everyone. Scissors are in there, tape is in there, extra brown paper is in there. Become has your bell. So if you are teaching small group and you are not interested in what large group is this week, then now is the time to stop the video. But if you are teaching large group, or if you're interested in what is happening for a large group, you can continue on. So for large group, you're going to be starting at 10:15. As kids are walking in, you need to set that 2-minute timer. So 10:13, start the 2-minute timer so you start exactly at 10:15 so that we can just really utilize that time in small group well. So for your welcome, it has all the supplies listed. I'm just going to walk you through all the parts. So 10:15 starts the welcome. If you are 2 people teaching this week, what I recommend is that one teacher does the welcome, the find it in the, I'm going to show you over here, the welcome, the find it in the Bible, the review, and the wrap up. And the other teacher does the Bible teaching, because that is the meat of the lesson. That's our story for this week. It's the longest part. And so that's how I recommend breaking it up if you have 2 teachers in here. And do talk about it before Sunday so you know who is doing what part so you can prepare. So for the welcome, I cut out a section. I cut out the intro video for this week because it is just coloring, but it requires passing out drawing utensils, paper, clipboards, all the things that are going to make us take way longer than what we should. And in the video, it's a drawing activity, and it ends with them just saying what our bright idea is for this week. So you can skip the video. So you're just going to do this beginning part, which is where you're going to play a drawing game. And if you look up here, you have your whiteboard and your 2 markers already set up for doing that drawing game on the whiteboard from the stage. And you're going to go over the he, we, and me together before you exit, before you move on to the next part, which is find it in the Bible. So find it in the Bible. As you get started, what I recommend before you do the script is to pull their eyes up to this banner up here and help them remember God's big story, that every story that we're studying, this week it's Moses and his birth. Every story we're studying is a part of God's big story. How was Moses' birth a part of God's big story? And then you're going to say this, and then you're going to open the Bible. So I have a Bible marked up front. You're going to show them the table of contents so they know how to locate where Exodus is, and then have them turn to the title page of Exodus and look for Exodus 1 and 2. They're not going to read this together. Older kids might choose to keep their Bibles out and read it as we do the lesson, and I am all for that. But we're not like prescribing them to read it right now. So they're going to locate where it's at. You're going to say those things, and then we're going to move into our Bible teaching, which begins here. So there's no lessons here other than just having, there's no materials here other than the slides. So the Bible teaching is all about the birth of Moses. And so when you look at here, it's got all of this prep work listed. I have already done it for you. Basically what you're doing is you're going to be doing a watercolor painting on a matte poster board, which is taped to the wall. So it's taped here, and there is watercolors and paint down there. Now, what I highly recommend is using the blue or the purple, because that's going to show up much better for the kids. There is a message written underneath it, or written on it with white crayon that they won't see until you color over top of it with the watercolor. So as you look at the lesson plan, it's going to tell you at different points to paint your poster board with the watercolor, and the words will start magically appearing. Now, if something crazy happens and it doesn't show up, I have written the words in watercolor on the back of the poster. So you've got a backup plan. If something happens and those words don't show up, take the poster off the wall, show them the back. It says God's hope is unstoppable. And so that is on the back as well. So this is the story on page 6 and page 7. And page 8. During this time, the large group teachers are going to be focused on really teaching. And so the other 4 teachers that are small group teachers, 2 of you should be monitoring behavior. 1 of you should be clicking the slides for the teachers. And then 1 of you should be with the iPad for any kids that are arriving as they're teaching. So you can mark them as being present in class. So then the other teacher jumps back up for the Bible review video. I set up the corners for choices A, B, C, D. If for some reason you're running short on time, this section and the next section are the ones to skip if for some reason you realize you're running short on time, because our time is a hard stop at 10:48 so that you can get back to class to have time with your small groups. That time is precious, and we need to make sure that we have that time. So the corners are here. You see A, you see B over here, C is here, and D. It was covered up by the bathroom doors. It's on the mirror. So those are your corners. You can go over those questions if you have some time but not enough. Maybe just do a few of the questions and not all of them. But if you have the time, you're going to do all of those questions if you do have the time. And so then your last stop is here at the wrap up, where you're going to answer those questions you said at the beginning, talk about the bright idea for this week, which is that God's hope is unstoppable, do the memory verse practice together one time and watch the memory verse video, pray together, and then send the kids out by group. So the timing of it is all on your front page. So if you're up here teaching and you're trying to remember exactly when you need to be done with your section, turn back to the front page and you can see it here, or it is also here on the schedule on the board right next to the stage. But that is it for this week. Thank you guys so much for serving. If you have any questions, please reach out to me anytime. You can find my phone number on Planning Center, or I will be texting you with all of this information on Friday. Friday? Yes, Friday. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you on Sunday.